Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. place of light and love. You can't have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
And good morning, everybody. Good morning. Somebody will see me. My name's Tim Hancock. I'm your practitioner du jour this morning, and I'd like to welcome you to Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Now let's move into our invocation. And as we move into the present moment and just release all of the outside, just bring our hearts into our minds, into our heart, knowing there is the one spirit, the one presence, the one divine soul that is in, through, and around each and every one of us, that is guiding us, that is leading us, that is allowing us to be as it is, as it has created us. And as we move into today's service, we know that all are blessed. We know that all are blessed regardless of where they are conscious of their one presence, whether it's in a mosque, a synagogue, a temple, out in nature, in your armchair getting ready for the Broncos, wherever you are. You simply are blessed. And we know that the words of Reverend Elzia and my reading, the music, the technology, all involved with this service is blessed, as well as those who are in this room and those who are watching this online. So we just simply move into the love that is here at Center for Spiritual Living Denver. And so it is. And our reading today comes from Ernest Holmes. The topic for today is choosing the sacred perspective. And in The Art of Life, Ernest writes, life is infinite energy coupled with limitless creative imagination. It's the invisible essence and substance of every visible form. Its nature is goodness, truth, wisdom, and beauty, as well as energy and imagination. Our highest satisfaction comes from a sense of conscious union with this invisible life. All human endeavor is an attempt to get back to first principles, to find such an inward wholeness that all sense of fear, doubt, and uncertainty vanishes. And Ernest went on to do a reading. This reading is going to be in a meditative form. So go ahead and take a deep breath and simply release it, releasing what you brought from the outside. And gently close your eyes and take another deep breath and allow your consciousness to focus on your heart as you listen to these words. I know there is power for good, which is responding to me and bringing into my experience everything that is necessary to my unfoldment, to my happiness, to my peace, to my health, and to my success. I know there is a power for good that enables me to help others and to bless the whole world. So I say quietly to myself, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. It is flowing through me, circulating in me. I am one with its rhythm. My heart beats with the pulsation of the universe. in serenity, in peace, and in joy. My whole physical being is animated by the divine spirit. And if there is anything in it that does not belong, it is cast out because there is one perfect life in me now. And I say to myself, I am daily guided, so I shall know what to do under every circumstance, in every situation. Divine intelligence guides me in love, in joy, and in complete self-expression. Desiring that law of God alone shall control me. I bless and prosper everything I am doing. I multiply every activity. I accept and expect happiness and complete success. Realizing that I am one with all people, I affirm there is a silent power flowing through me and them, which blesses and heals and prospers, makes happy and glad their pathway. I bless and affirm that it shall come under the divine government of good, under the divine providence of love, and under the divine leadership of the Supreme Intelligence. And now I simply invite you to slowly bring yourself back to the present. And so it is. And now we move into the music of Jamie Lula.
Here's something brand new. What if it's true? You have everything you need. What if it's true? You can live your wildest dreams. Will you run and hide or go along for the ride? Toss the current and tide in the ocean of possibilities. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew the infinite's residing in you? What if it's true that there's never need for shame? What if it's true that there's power in your pain? Will you run and hide or go along for the ride? Test the current and tide in the ocean of possibilities. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that the infinite's rising in you? Shadow and light, yin and the yang are all part of you. The past is the past, we've all made mistakes, it isn't your truth. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that the infinite's thriving in you? What if you knew? What if you knew that your soul's so much larger than you? What if you knew? What if you knew your design is divine? yes, it's true. What if you knew? What if you knew?
Good morning, and thank you, Jamie, for that gentle reminder of what if you knew. And I want to remind everyone that this is the Center for Spiritual Living Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community utilizing ancient wisdom and teaching universal principles to empower our lives and the lives of others. This month, we're on a journey, if you will, of wholeness, looking to embody this whole idea of the sacred, the mundane, and dare I say, the profane. Because when we really look at life in its totality, there is no separation. And so today, when we examine this whole idea of the wholeness of life, we want to look at this idea, this concept of choosing the sacred perspective, Now, we often remind ourselves, or somebody reminds us, whether it's the TV or the news or somebody bringing us bad news, that we live in a world that is chaotic, ever changing, filled with challenges. And oftentimes it becomes a burden. It becomes a burden because at that moment, we're not looking at the wholeness of life. We're focused on that one little thing that's just more than we can handle in a lot of cases. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Wiz, with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. There was a song in there by the character called Eveline. I don't know how they came up with that name, but she had this verse that don't nobody bring me no bad news. If you get the opportunity, go out and search that song. Don't nobody bring me no bad news from the Wiz. Great song, because it reminds us that it's a perspective that allows us to categorize one thing or another in a certain place or category, or however we choose to do it. And so when we begin to understand that the way we look at things, the criticality of how the world is put together, we begin to realize that our lives, if we just take one step back, is just one series of moment by moment by moment. Nothing more than that. And when we can look at that and face these complexities in these moments, we begin to open up to an idea of true divinity. Now, when we look at the word sacred, and when we were children, we often were taught or reminded or coerced, however it happened, that there were only certain things that were sacred, like weddings or funerals or births. And so we begin to cultivate this idea that the sacred is something that's set aside from regular life. It's set apart from everyday living. But when we look at the word sacred, which is an adjective, by the way, which has very significant meaning, sacred means to embrace the divinity in all things, to realize the value or the intrinsic necessity of a thing. Now, what thing in your life would you want to cut out that's not necessary? Would you want to cut out that bad situation that allowed you to step into your fullness? Do you want to cut out that moment that you celebrated a joyous success? So we begin to see that the way we look at things, the perspective that we look at things has a lot to do with it. And so the thing to remember about sacred being an adjective is that it describes a state of being. It describes a state of understanding that when we are able to step into that, every moment is a state. Everything has a quality that is worthy of attention. Again, which moment in your life you want to really not flippantly say, oh yeah, I remember that time I got an F on my math test. I want to X that out, right? Or I remember that time me and my partner had a fight and I left the house and I wrecked the car because I wasn't paying attention. Do you really want to X that out? Because I'm sure there was a sacred moment in that if you can flip the perspective. Because what that says is this: there is nothing and no thing and no place that has value, that has I dare say, a hidden message for you to ponder, for you to look at, for you to explore in the quietness of your heart and mind. Because if God, the creative source of the universe, the intelligence of the all, however you choose to refer to that creative source in the universe, in all traditions, there is a statement somewhere that resembles, in the beginning, there was nothing but this thing, this God, this presence, this intelligence, and it imbued itself into everything. Now, I don't know what you call everything, but I call everything everything. I mean, so that means is, God is anywhere you look. God is there. This intelligence is there. So how can we not pay respect to the sacredness? If you really do believe that this power, this intelligence is all there is, right? Because we know, it's easy for us to forget the intricacies and the wonderful, magnificent brilliance of life. Just think about, now we've already set birth aside as a sacred thing, but I want to go into that for a minute because it really highlights this whole idea, I believe, for sacredness. Imagine two people, they don't know each other. By some random or sacred invention, they meet each other. And they begin to talk and yada yada and whatever. And then guess what? At some point, 9 months later from that conversation, something happens. I don't know what it is, but they told me it happened. Let me put it that way. I wasn't there when it happened to you. I was there when it happened to me. But in that moment, we've gone from an idea in the mind of two people to a physical presence on earth that can walk and talk and sing and dance and do a myriad of other things, save lives even. Imagine that. An idea that saved somebody's life. So when we begin to look at things and try to categorize them into sacred or mundane or profane, I don't think I can pick any of it. Because I'm sure in a lot of religious settings, that idea that brought you here, some people might not look at that as sacred. They might say that's profane. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But if I am, tell me later. Just whisper in my ear. And then I know better for next time. But that's what we're dealing with in life. We've been taught to set these different things aside as valuable or not valuable, or sacred or mundane or profane. Does not exist. All of life is sacred. The question becomes, when are we going to wake up to that idea? When are you going to step into the greatness of sacredness in everything you do? Because this sacred perspective invites us to grow. It invites us to move beyond the pettiness, the littleness, the the stuff that really does not matter when you think about life. And I want to just remind us that everyone is created unique and uniquely qualified to fulfill their purpose, whatever that is, no matter what it looks like. When we see someone that's tall or short or, stout or whatever the situation, there is a unique purpose for that encapsulated power of the presence of the divine to be present on earth at that particular time, in that particular place. Which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? None. Absolutely. I'm raising my hand. None. I'm not going to deny any of the power and presence of the divine that allows me to see everything as sacred. It's a perspective. As we said in the beginning, I can look at everything as a tragedy, look at everything as an abomination or the Armageddon or whatever you want to project as that thing. But there was a song that had a verse. I'm going to change it. It said, try a little tenderness. I'm going to say, try a little sacredness in everything you do. Try a little sacredness in everything you do. Because you see, this divine intelligence that is incarnate in everything asks us one question: to remember. To remember. There's this saying that I forget who said it, but I love it. And it says, who were you before you were born? Who were you before you were born? Because when you think about that, that brings up a whole sacred, that gets me to welling up right now. Who was I before I was born? Well, I don't know. Or the most prominent question is, was I before I was born? But is there something I should have a connection to before I was born? But if God has imbued its intelligence, its divine essence in everything, that means in the thing that we see and the thing that we don't see. So one day we weren't seen, then we were seen, and then there'll be a day when we won't be seen again. Which one of those is sacred? Do we set aside any one of those as more sacred than the other? More important than the other? I say not. I say not. So when we begin to look at how do we change our perspective to be sacred, so that we embody the mindset and the activities and the lifestyle that reflects this idea in everything we do, I have 3 sacred tools that I think will really set the stage. And before we go into these points, I want us to look at this first slide that I have here, because I think it really sets the stage. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. So that's a perspective. So if we could change that, i.e. change ourselves a little bit and how we look at things and how we judge things and how whatever we do, things will begin to change. And so the first spiritual tool that we have to grab a hold of, this is a tough one. I don't mean to give you a hard word, but it just has to be done. And that's gratitude. Gratitude is the first tool that we need to begin to look at the world sacredly. Everything sacred. Gratitude. There should be a gratitude for waking up this morning, for going to sleep last night, for drinking some water, for cursing at my car this morning when it broke down. Thought I wasn't going to make it. But just think, there's a gratitude that I have a car that could break down. There's some people that they can't even experience that. Now, did it make me jump for joy? Well, absolutely not. However, it did make me reflect. It did make me look inside and stop cursing the car and say, I got somewhere to be. Gratitude. This slide on gratitude, I think, really says it. When it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or take them for gratitude. That's a cornerstone of any building you want to build. Do you take it for granted or do you take it for gratitude? Because every moment is special. Oprah Winfrey said this: gratitude can transform any situation. It alters your vibration, moving you from negative energy to positive. It is the quickest, easiest, most powerful way to affect change in your life. To affect change in your life. Who doesn't want some change in their life? Any kind of change. Some of us in a situation, we don't even need it to be good change. We just need some change, period. Because we, the proverbial, if we keep doing the same thing, nothing changes. I ain't going to go there. But when we can live in gratitude, everything begins to shift. Everything begins to shift. Because, every minister worth their salt, always says, well, one day we ain't going to be here. Well, that's a perspective as well, because spiritually we will always be here. But when we think about gratitude, we can elongate that to be everything, everywhere, every place, at all times. Gratitude. So that's the first tool. That's the first tool. Now, once we get a hold of this whole idea of gratitude, being grateful for everything, it kind of leads us down this path to say, is there a purpose for what just happened? Or is there a purpose to me being here in this place at this time? So that second tool is purpose. What is the purpose of you? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of us? Right? Because without that, it's like a ship in the ocean without a rudder. It's just, going hither and there. But when we look at this next slide, this is what Iyanla Vanzant says. Each of us was born to fulfill a divine purpose. As we open our hearts and minds to a new way of being, the purpose of our lives unfolds organically. Unfolds organic. Now, I know when I said organic, y'all thought about Whole Foods and all these other kind of places about organic. But there's another kind of organic, right? Of just natural living, of being in the moment and allowing the purpose of that to just unfold. Think about just I know each of us can think about a moment when we were in this organic state, that state of just allowing, that state of just not expecting anything, just enjoying the moment. And we could understand who and what we are in that very moment, organically. So when we begin to understand that there is purpose to everything, this idea of sacredness just unfolds. And especially when we, get that gratitude thing going. I'm big on that because I know sometimes I'm not as grateful as I could be. We all have that chance of thinking less of ourselves, right? I'm guilty, but that's okay. I'm working on it. I'm grateful for the idea that I didn't do it last time so I can do it better next time. That's what life's about, right? And so when we begin to align ourselves with nature, With nature? Yes, with nature. Something that God has set aside, if you will, as sacred, that is always doing. Flowers have been blooming since flowers came on the planet, whenever that was. And they say it's been a long time ago. They're still blooming. The apple trees are still, believe it or not, producing apples, not oranges, not grapefruits. There's a purpose there, and there's a pattern of divine intelligence that is imbued in everything. And if we allow it to be organically nurtured, we will see it. It will manifest itself. And we need that kind of manifestation all over the globe right now. And I'm not even going to talk about the different situations that we could direct that love, that manifestation to, because we all know what they are. Now, once we've understood this gratitude and made that the cornerstone of everything we do, and allow purpose to begin to emerge in all situations, the last thing that we have to do, and I apologize, I told y'all a story. I said gratitude was the hardest. Forgive me. This one is the hardest. Humility. Humility. Ooh, I'm going to take a break on that one. Because that's something that's hard to come by. That's good as gold. I mean, if you got some humility, you can take that to the bank almost. Especially in this day, everybody's about me, 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 self, self, self. Even when they say they do it for others, they really doing for self. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to take care of self. There's an organic nature of self-preservation. We understand that, but not to the detriment and downplay of everything and everybody else. Humility. One of the most outstanding things I like about humility is that it allows the mystery of life to unfold. Because I don't know what's going to happen right now. Or when I walk out the door, there's a mystery involved there. And I have to be humble enough. I have to be grateful enough. And I have to have a sense of purpose enough to walk into that unknown. Which makes it, by definition, in my mind, a sacred moment. It's set aside. It's a quality of life. It's a state of being that I have to immerse myself into and allow life to unfold. Now, when we look at this slide on humility, when we embrace humility, we create space for growth and limitless possibilities. You show me someone that's not humble, and I'll show you someone that you can't teach them anything. Absolutely nothing. Because they believe and think that they are the ones that the cat meow about. They are the ones that the world revolves around. Simply not true. I don't care how much value you bring to the earth, how much value you bring to a situation. May be great, may be needed, may be magnificent, but it's not all about that person. It's not all about me. So understanding and beginning to look at life as sacred, switching the perspectives is paramount right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after I figure out none of that. It is paramount right now to take a sacred look at life before I dare say life is something that you do not recognize. I can't even imagine what that might be, but I know it ain't something I want to do. I'll tell you that right now. Sacredness. Everything has value. Everything has purpose. Everything has the ability to enlighten us to live a life that's filled with gratitude. Rick Warren said this: when we don't think less of ourselves, but think of ourselves less. I'm going to say that again. That's a play on words. When we don't think less of ourselves, but think of ourselves less, we're moving into humility. We're moving into looking at things sacred. We're moving into allowing our purpose to emerge. And when we can do that, life really does become as is characterized in the Wiz or the Wizard of Oz. You know, we can go down this yellow brick road just singing and looking for life to unfold, knowing that there is an answer to everything. And as Dorothy found out, that answer is in us, in our own hearts, in our own minds, in that divine emanation that has been put with each and every one of us. And so, as always, when we step into this week, we have to have some call to actions because, you know, this is good reminder. This is a good prime to pump, but I only prime the pump so I can start the car. Mine didn't work this morning, but that's okay. That's a whole nother story. So we can get these call to actions for this week. There's two things. For this week, examine your day and journal about the various people, places, and things that happen in search of the sacred and the presence of the divine. So basically, take some time at the end of your day, every day this week. If you just write one word, just kind of go through your day and think about which thing you don't want to be there, and then look at it in a sacred perspective. At a sacred perspective. And then the next thing is, can go hand in hand with that. Spend 10 minutes. Now, I know everybody got 10 minutes. How many times you spent 20 minutes just scrolling through TikTok or Facebook or Instagram or whatever? 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes, go to the park, sit in your backyard, look out the window, and visualize everything as sacred and being filled with the divine. Those are simple things. But I guarantee you, if you partake, you will see a transformation, not only in your life, but the way you see life. And so in closing, I would like to say this. Let us choose the sacred perspective, a perspective that transcends the temporal and connects us to all there is. As we navigate the journey of life, may our choices reflect our commitment, our understanding, and our acknowledgement that all things are divine and that we walk by faith and not by sight. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly God, that divine perspective that all things matter, that all things include this idea of connectedness, of oneness, of purpose. This idea where we allow ourselves to be more than we ever thought we could be, because we know it's all sacred. And we know that the divine intelligence that created anything has created everything. And for that we give thanks, and we know that we are in divine company. And so as we allow that presence to embody us, and we allow our ideas to rise to the highest heights, we begin to see ourselves and others as emanations of the Most High God, allowing ourselves to see everything as sacred, to be humble, to pay attention, to reflect on what it is we have in this thing called life. And so when we're able to do that, we allow God to be God, and we allow God to operate through us. And so I know right here, right now, for us in this room, and for those that are on the airways, and for anyone that may hear this later, that we are charged with greatness. So let us ask for sacredness that allows us to step boldly into the future, knowing that everything we see everything we do and everything we touch is divine. And so it is in that truth that I release this prayer, knowing that it is already working in the minds of each and every one of us and unfolding based on universal laws to empower us and those around us. And so with that, I release, I let go, and I know that this is absolutely so. And so it is. Amen. And so it is. Amen. And so just an affirmation to anchor that for the week. If I could get that affirmation up. I open myself up to the adventure of finding the sacred in the unexpected. That's the affirmation for this week. And so we want to thank you for being with us this morning. We so much appreciate your attendance and your presence online, and we love the idea of building community, which is what we're looking to do here. And so we are grateful for your time, treasure, and talents, and whatever you give to this community. And whether this is your first time or your returning member, we thank you. And so if you look across the bottom of the screen, you can see the many different ways you can support this idea, whether you go to our website and hit the donate button, whether you use text to give, whether that's 616-441-0689, or whether you just send a check or money order to the P.O. box. But however you do it, we appreciate it. And so if you just follow us in our customary tradition of giving, and we place our hand over our heart if it feels comfortable, and recite this affirmation: this perfect gift is spirit informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give, and joyously I receive, and so it is. Amen. And so it is. Amen. And now Tim is going to give us a couple of announcements.
Thank you, Reverend Elzia. Good talk. Thank you. All right, mark your calendars. We are going to reestablish a favorite tradition here at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. It's called First Turkey. And we had it traditionally the Sunday before Thanksgiving because it was the first turkey you were going to eat for the whole holiday season.
But not the last.
But not the last. That's why it's First Turkey. But we are going to have a hybrid First Turkey. This was started by our founding minister, Reverend Jim Chandler, back in the 1900s, when our 1990s, when our doors first opened. Well, it was 1900s, the late 1900s. And we've carried it through everything until the pandemic hit. And then, of course, we couldn't do it. Now we're back, and we're going to have a hybrid on the 19th. We're going to have divine dialogue as well as a mini potluck. So bring a snack. Don't get crazy. Bring a stack, and it doesn't have to be turkey related. And we will have some community and some divine dialogue and just talk about anything that's mundane, sacred, or profane. We can cover it all. And that's going to be on the 19th, on Sunday the 19th. Next Sunday, that's right. For those of you who are new here, we do have a table over here with a lot of literature. Pardon me. Some of it has information about what religious science is and who we are as a community. And we also have some older Science of Mind books you're willing to take. We have the current Science of Mind magazine. It's a 2-month issue for $4. And there's a little pot over there to throw the money in if you wish. And we also have some CDs in that. Plus, we do have some coffee and some really good apple bread over there that somebody brought. So, if you'd like to hear some good news of the world, to affirm the good news of the world, we have a link on our Facebook page called And Now the Good News. This program is put together by New Thought Media Network and airs on Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can watch this anytime during the week. Just go to Center for Spiritual Living Denver Facebook page, click on any post that says Now the Good News. And New Thought Media Network has over 40 hours of weekly broadcast programming. And we invite you to go to www.ntmedia.org and check out what they have. There is something for everybody. We are truly blessed by everyone who's chosen to support CSL Denver by showing up here today or by watching our services online. We know that as we move through the rest of the year, the Divine Beloved is guiding and loving each and every one of us. Thank you very much for joining us. And now let's close out with Chris Chickering singing a prayer for who we really are.
This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are light, we are sunshine, we are what we believe. We are hope, we are promise of everything that's yet to be. We are bliss, we are laughter, we are flowers in the spring. We are life, ever flowing, and these are the words that we will sing. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are strong, we are fearless, we find the comfort in our souls. We are real, we are open to the destiny that's ours to hold. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really are. We are here, we are present in every moment that we breathe. We are peace, we are freedom, and this is a song for you and me. Yeah, this is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we really. This is a prayer for the love within us. This is a prayer to release our hearts. This is a prayer that we carry with us. This is a prayer for who we